am Trevicia, and you are listening to Old Arbor Radio 1. Thank you for joining us. Please check out our webpage at oldarborradio1.mystrikingly.com for our program lineup, our latest reports, and more. Continue to enjoy our program and be sweet now.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
Old Harbor, and all surrounding communities, remember to keep cooking by ordering your IGL and Gas Pro cooking gas from Jagon Gases. We sell all sizes cheap, and we deliver them for free. And guess what? If you can manage to come to us at 37 East Street, Old Harbor, and pick up your gas, then you get your gas even cheaper. Call us today for more information and to order your gas. We're open Mondays to Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sundays, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Public holidays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Or call us 876-983-2318, 983-2427, 455-1243, 805-4345, 630-3978, 630-3851. We also take debit and credit cards. Keep it cooking with Jagon's Gas is your number one spot for IGL and Gas Pro cooking gas from Jagon Gases.
Yes! Alright! What we do?
Looking for a radio station with a real community vibe? Then Old Harbor Radio 1 might be exactly what you need. What's so special about it?
Old Harbor Radio 1, or OHR1, from Old Harbor, Jamaica, offers a wide variety of content. The station's focus is on family-oriented programming.
Family-oriented? But what kind of topics do they cover exactly?
They delve into business, health, religion, entertainment, and lifestyle, aiming to be a platform for the future with music.
That sounds pretty comprehensive. How is OHR1 supported?
Well, Zeno.fm mentions that OHR1 relies on listener donations to maintain its independent broadcasting so you can support your favorite DJ. So it is a station with a strong community focus and diverse content, making it a great option for anyone looking for family-friendly radio. You can visit their website for more.
Perfect. Thanks for all the details.
You are listening to Old Harbor Radio 1, the voice of the people. Educating and entertaining, 24 hours streaming from Jamaica to the world. Check out our website for more information. Big up Jamaica.
Grace Beyond Brokenness is a deeply personal and spirit-led journey through pain, healing, and the redemptive power of God's love. Born in Stony Hill in Jamaica and shaped by unimaginable childhood trauma, Dawn rose above pain to become a voice of hope. With a background in law enforcement, social work, public service, Dawn now uses her life's journey to inspire others to find strength, purpose, and grace beyond brokenness. A gift to the world. This book, written for individual navigating the aftermath of life's hardest season, whether grief, betrayal, molestation, rejected, homelessness, identity crisis, trauma, and self-doubt. This book offers a sacred place to be hopeful in the broken hearts. Uniquely blended memories, devotional prayers, personal journey, and deep affiliations. Grace Beyond Brokenness explores how God meets us not in our perfection, but in our deepest needs. It invites readers to rediscover their identity, reclaim their lives, and walk boldly in purpose, no matter how fractured their past may seem. This isn't just a story, friends. No, not just a story of survival. It is a testimony of transformation, a celebration of grace that restores, renews, and rebuilds who I was born and destined to be. With spiritual insight, soul stirring reflections, compassionate, and encouragements, this 26th chapter book is for every individual who's ever asked the question, can any good come from my brokenness? The answer is yes, it can. Grace is a testament, and I can attest to this. We invite the author, Dawn Smikle, to talk with us, to share with us about her story and more about this book. Welcome, Dawn, to our program this morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me. Thank you. I appreciate being here. Good morning to all your listeners, wherever you're tuning in from on this radio station. Good morning to you. Happy Thursday. Kingdom greetings to everybody on the program this morning that is tuning in. As you said, sir, my name is Dawn Smikle. I was born and raised in the beautiful hill of Stony Hill. And during my adolescent year, my mom left me at the Spanish Town police station, and I ended up at Maxfield, Gleno Place of Safety, where I spent my teenage years in the system between Gleno Place of Safety and Windsor Girls Home. While my journey there was one of bitter sweet moment, but I'm grateful for every journey in my life because of those experiences. I am able to really, grow, help people that are suffering, and to able to publish my book to just encourage people wherever they are in their life. Um, I also want to give thanks this morning to Dr. Winkler Gallimore. She was one of those mothers, those mentors that really stood up for me while I was in the service. To just be a blessing in my life. God has really placed her in my life, and because of her divine intervention, I can say that I have become the woman that I'm I'm born to be, and I thank God for her. So back to what I was saying about my journey as a ward of the state. When I went to Maxfield Children's Home, I was there for years. So I spent my teenage years there. And while I was there, I usually isolated because of my mother neglecting me because of her spouse. One of those moms that have their spouse, and I am an outside child for her, and her then relationship between my stepdad and her,
Hmm.
and me being an outside child, and my father was not showing that much interest in me as his daughter
Uh-huh.
because he had like multiple outside children from his marriage. So he lied a lot. He was a police officer as well. And my father was one of those fathers that you considered a sperms donor. If he tell you very he was not the one that to support my mom with me. There were many days that my mom would stand on the street of Mullines Road waiting for him to come and give us something for lunch money, for food. And I tell you, even
When
though
you say
my
give
mom
us,
cried,
so you were there waiting with mom many times.
yes,
Okay. Uh-huh.
but we're there from after 3 in the evening to midnight. Keep calling him. He said, "I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm on my way," and he never showed up. Mind you, he was doing two jobs. He was also working at the General Penitentiary Prison while he was working as a Blue Scene police officer as well. And you know where the Apex Medical Center is, and they have that parking lot now. Back then, it was like that little wholesale in that same space. So sometimes when the rain come down, my mom would stand on the corridor, sit on the corridor, sleep on the corridor, waiting for him to come to give us some money, just for supporting me as a child. And he never turned up. And I think she got frustrated because she had other kids, and she started going through trauma between my dad and the other kids that she have, and she just got frustrated and just forget about me. While I was there, she didn't come and visit me a lot, and I was very rebellious being in the system. But God really changed my life when I met Dr. Winkler Gallimore, and she started mentoring me. And even when I left Gleno Place of Safety and I went to Windsor Girls Home, she would still journey from Kingston to St. Anne's Bay just to visit me like on a monthly basis. Or if she doesn't come, They have that weekly meeting where persons from various churches would come to the home and do those mentorship programs with us. Sir Keith, I was one of the very disturbed, disorientated child in the institution. When I talk about defensive, rebellious, angry,
Angry.
aggressive, you
Yeah.
name it,
Mm-hmm.
that's Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that the love that I needed from my family, there, it was not forthcoming. And I think when I needed my mom and my dad, they were not there and they neglected me. So I was just bitter.
Yeah.
But God really worked on me. God really worked on me and do a 360 in my life. And I thank him. I didn't got the privilege like every other kid in the institution because of how disruptive I was. And some persons got the privilege of having big sisters from like it was like Sandals. At the time it was like Jamaica Grande. I think now Palace and like Duns River Falls and all those wonderful place institution, they will come and like, pick a child and
Uh-huh.
that child will be their pen pal and their big sister. But
Uh,
I didn't got any. But one day, this lady now from Dolphin Cove, she came to the home and she was like, I want to pick the worst child in the institution.
wow.
That's the child I want to mentor.
And
And
and they
I
point
was
on you?
chosen.
Oh my
They
goodness.
point at me. And that's how comes I got a big sister. I still keep in touch with her. I will talk to her in a little minute, but I still keep in touch with her.
So you were well known to be the worst, the one,
Yes,
the most
I was just
rebellious, hungry,
right.
always lashing out child in the institution. And by this time,
Yes, sir.
how old are you at this time now?
I was like 13 years old, 14.
Okay. So you have
Right.
a big sister now. Uh-huh.
Yes, I do. I have many big sisters, and in my adult years now, I have returned the favor in mentoring a few kids who I've known about their story, whose story resonate with my story, and they have been doing very well.
So after leaving, after leaving the institution, coming into adulthood, from the
Hmm.
institution to where?
To being homeless.
Oh my goodness.
Living. I joined the Stony Hill Police Youth Club. And while I joined the Police Youth Club in Stony Hill, I met this wonderful woman, Corporal, at the time she was Corporal Perry Roberts. And Petal, I don't remember her last name, but she's deceased. They had a female quarters, and I usually stay with them in the quarters until Miss Roberts really pushed and worked her neck off for me to get in the system to start my journey of
Hello?
at the time it was Inspector Nevernight. He was officer in charge of our community station and they really work assiduously to give me the opportunity to become a police officer. And that's where my journey of success began. Even though I had some unfortunate circumstances in the service. But before I get there, back fast backtrack to when I was at the girls' home.
Hmm.
I I didn't got the opportunity of going to school on the outside, like every other kid that, behave and they were doing what they're supposed to do and abiding by the rules. So I only could go to school on the inside. Like, we have persons that come in and taught us English, the various subjects of school, and also the trade of cosmetology, food and nutrition, um, information technology. And that's where my journey began. I didn't left the home on good terms, I must tell you. One day, I was always fighting. As I said, I was always rebellious and always angry. If you talk to me too hard, I'm ready to fight because I have my wall of defense up. I feel like nobody care about me, nobody like me. So I was just set apart. But while I was at Windsor Girls Home, I met this woman, these beautiful, phenomenal women, Juliet Perkins and Marian Mirage. And when they got into my life, and also Andrew Salmon, I started toning down a little bit. I started toning down a little bit. Then, like each Saturday, because I wanted the opportunity of going out on the weekends, so I would, like conform to the rules of the children's home.
Uh-huh.
And then I got the opportunity of going to church on a Saturday with Miss Rose and her grandkids, Anna Dean. And they every Saturday now I got the opportunity of going to church, and I would go to church on a Sunday. And that was my little way of, incentive of being good. And when they come there on a Wednesday to do their morning devotion on a Wednesday, I would, line with them, and persons like from overseas who are Americans, they would come like on a mission trip, and they would like donate stuff. And that's when my life began. Like people care about me. When I started, communicating with those persons via mail, they would write me postcards, send me letters, send me pictures, send me a little change in the mail and stuff like that. But one day, this little girl, she touched me. She touched me on my breast, and I hit her in her face, and we started fighting.
Wow.
And the fight that I fight, I was going to get transferred to Granville Place of Safety because I really whipped her bad and her face messed up. And I was going to go to Armadale. Armadale Place of Safety is like one of those prisons. You stay there until you're 24, and then you go to big jail because I really wounded her very bad. And I thank God that the home had burned down, because if it never burned down, maybe I would still be in the system, or maybe I would come be, out of the system by now. But like as I said, on my journey of being angry, I'm always lashing at people and stuff like that. And I ran
Okay.
away from the home.
After
I
the
ran
fight,
away
yeah.
from the home instead of going to Granville, then
Uh-huh.
to go to Armadale Place of Safety.
Okay.
And that's when everything just started afresh for me. I came to Kingston. I, sought help from people who I know, and they turned their back on me. They said that, listen, we can't help you. We can't help you. We can't open our doors to you because you're an additional responsibility in our family and in our household. And I live today for God to rise me, for me to be a blessing and a footstool for those same people that rejected me in my young adult years.
Okay. Uh-huh. Tell us the journey through the police system, because it is written in your books in to some length and degree. How have that period of your life still impact you today?
Ah, I can tell you that I'm still going through my healing process with the force. Nothing else. I did therapy and all that, but what I had an unfortunate situation in 2018. But before 2018, I joined the force and I didn't have any subject. And I thank God for the police force, because the police force has created the foundation I needed in my life on this journey to be who I am today. It has laid those values that were instilled in me from um, the training to working, the quorum and all that. And I'm thankful. Between 2012 and 2018, I've always been having being abused by police officers, men. If you're not having intimacy with anyone, you're not going to be favored. Um, Given the worst duties, graveyard shift, because I don't want to date the superintendent. I got transferred to various different police stations, and wherever they go, the motto said, wherever I go, I shall serve. And I use my journey as a blessing to mentor the young trainees that come out of training, and say that, listen, whatever peer pressure may reach you, pray and ask God for mercy, but don't give in to the peer pressure of the system, but use every opportunity that you get. Every obstacle that come your way, use it as an opportunity for bettering yourself. In 2018, I had a vehicle that I was working at the police college. I worked there for 13 and a half years um, before I leave on my 14th service. And I was assaulted by a police officer at the Old Harbor police station about my vehicle. I went there to inquire about my vehicle. And just by me being very blunt and forthfront in my district constable uniform, because when you're a district constable, you're seen as nobody in the system. You're seen as the bottom of the pot, the dirt. And I said to the officer, it's because you begged the man money off my car, and because you didn't get the money off my car, why you took off the plate off my car, and the police thumped me in my face. You
My
know that
goodness.
ricochet. I hit him back and I said, why are you assaulting me? What have I done? We started fighting in the guard room, and it turned into a big brawl. Four other officers, sir, jumped in the fight, and we started fighting. And when they call at my training school to tell them what happened to me, they gave them the story that I came down there and just start attacking people, attacking officers, and they had to restrain me and all that. The admin officer at the time, he said, lock her up, she not the work and now give us none of the front. Lock her up. But not in that word, but I cannot say it on ear because I'm on ear.
Yeah, got you. Got you. We
Um,
got you.
right. And because of that, because of maliciousness, grieve, and grievance, I went on suspension for 4 years without salary. I was drawn through the court system. I relived my juvenile court system experience. Coming to court, the judge put off your case and all that. And for those 4 years, I was still being manipulated, still being um, attacked, bullied in the streets of Spanish Town or wherever, Ocho Rios or wherever. I'm seeing and people know of my situation as a police officer. Victimization was at the forefront of my journey for the
So,
4 years until I resigned and left.
so the word has spread that far
Yes.
that you were involved beating police
Right.
officers in Old Harbor. Did they mention that one of the grudges because you know run the thing? That's
No, that was not the story. They fabricate their own story because this is it. Once you're, I can tell
so
you that
so
I'm
they
a very
so they
confrontational.
paint a picture that you were kind of insane.
Right. That's as always. From 2010 to now, that's what they say. Even now. But this is always their story. This is always their thing. Once they paint a picture on you and the stigma that comes with it, have the facts, but they just have this the hearsay story and they just create an audacity and they just go around and talk and try to get people to go against you. And once they don't like you, dog eat a supper in layman terms.
Uh-huh.
So, but my situation was this: when the fight ended on the day, I was arrested and charged criminally, sir. I thought that my file would have been to DPP and a ruling come forward and then they will take legal actions against me. Norman Haywood, the then ACP Norman Haywood, he literally wrote a suspension letter and signed it. When I got bail, sir, and I went to the police college with my sick leave, 7 days sick leave because my face was battered and bruised out. The government uniform was torn off my body and my private part was exposed. My face was so swollen. When I went there the following morning, after I received my sick leave from my doctor, I was my sick leave was rejected and then I was handed with a suspension letter the date that the incident happened. Immediately I went on suspension. So I think it just come with some victimization. And as a result, I was going through the court process. I thought that they would have just eased upon me, being that I was criminally charged and going through the system. Mocha started investigating me that I was involved in money laundering. Mind you, I have incomes that I can account for that pass through my account from clients that I have done or have been doing business with, and the money
Reputable
can be accounted for.
reputable clients, huh?
Reputable clients, sir.
Uh-huh.
They were not satisfied. They went to the embassy trying to get my visa cancelled, sir.
Wow.
They were not satisfied. They went to the NHT to get my homes taken away from me. And all everywhere that they can, every loophole that they can find, they were trying to manipulate me and bullied and target me. I was a target. I was running taxi to pay my attorney. And this morning I have to big up and give honor where honor is due to my attorney, Vincent Well Leslie. Because of his intervention in my court procedure, I won my case favorably in my favor, with God being in the midst of everything, sir. Mr. Wellesley has never, apart from three times that he has told me on the phone verbally that he would not be able to come to court, he has always showed up for my court case. There was no second attorney coming to operate on his behalf because he's not able to come to court. He's not a popular social media person, but I give my hats off to him for his support during my 4 years of representing me at court. And I was very straightforward and transparent about personal life and stuff that I'm trying to accomplish and try to do. And sir, please, can you fight for me, because I don't know who will fight for me. Police would come to court, which I was not expecting them to come to the court to speak on my behalf or support me, because they're very vindictive, and I was trying to fight for my life, praying and
Uh-huh.
asking God for coverage every day. Every day I'm living in fear while I was going to court, because every time when I go to court, I just feel fearful. When court finished, I don't want to drive my car for them to see that I'm going in that car. I wait there for like 2 3 hours until
Wow.
everybody leave and the court close.
Oh my goodness.
Sir,
Fear of life.
the inspector that I was involved with, that assaulted me, he came to court and confessed that he was trying to do me evil, take my picture to the voodoo man for me
What
to crash and die, and he crashed and couldn't come to court for months.
what you
He came
saying?
to court with swing, what do you call it, sling on his arm and stuff
Yes,
like that.
yes,
And he
yes.
said everything that I've tried. He said, Miss Michael, everything that I've tried to do to you has reversed back to me, and you're a
Wait.
strong woman. He said you're a strong, and
He
I'm
confessed
I'm
that in the
sitting in.
court?
He confessed in the court, sir. That's what my case threw away. Because even the constable that was involved in the fight, he said, listen, I know you to be a very wonderful police officer. You have never offended me when I was in training, but I was being paid to speak against you. And I don't think I feel comfortable in myself to go against you, knowing that you have never done me anything. So all those stories was just fabricating.
Hold on a minute, Don. Listeners of Old Harbor Radio 1, the voice of the people, you are hearing the voice of Dawn Smikle, author of Grace Beyond Brokenness. Wow, what a story! From abandonment, being left at the police station, went through the ward of the state to different homes, and you know how it can be. She tells us she was very rebellious. Her past would have caused her to be very rebellious. She mentioned very defensive, and into adulthood she entered into the police force, and she got another trauma. She got another disappointment. How much can one young lady go through? In Jamaican terms, we say, can something go so? How much could one bear? And our story continues, you know. She was target just like how you watch those FBI criminal movies. You heard her. She was target, her reputation, her character, her life was being threatened, and she rose above everything to publish this fascinating book. I wanted to ask her more about her educational background, you know. Darn,
Yes, sir.
when I went through your book, the quality of expression, words, the depths of understanding of the, let me put it this way, the profound exegesis that you have on the human character, the human soul, is very deep. The book speak for itself, Don. How did you gain so much knowledge and understanding of life and religion to publish such an awesome book in spite of all?
As I Right, sir. So backtrack to when I was in the girls' home. I can tell you that I was born in the church. My mom, my dad, they raised me in the church. And while I was in the girls' home, there was a devotional exercise that every Monday morning when we have our dorm inspection, we have to know the chapter of the Bible that we're given to study. I was called Christian in the girls' home. Anybody that listening and they know me from Glenelg Place of Safety or they know me from Windsor Girls Home, they can tell you. They call me Christian. You don't quote the Bible like, oh, I quote the Bible. You don't know Bible verses and words like, oh, I do. When I got out, I was working at the wholesale and I was going to Edna Manley School of Art, selling bag juice, going to school, selling my poems. I usually write words and sit down and,
Ah,
just passive myself and position my mind to say, hey, I want to be an inspiration. I've always wanted to be an attorney or a journalist. And I was good with words, I was good with thoughts, research, that force for the purpose of investigation because I'm always into research and wanting to learn what caused this, why do we think like this, why does this happen, and
amazing.
that's why I have a bachelor's in legal studies.
Tell us more. Go ahead. Continue.
Yes, sir. So, when that was forthcoming, I resort to working as a social worker. And I'm still on my journey, sir. I'm still on my journey. I am completing my master's in cybersecurity, investigation, information, and assurance. So, it's always the thought of knowledge and understanding and, gaining wisdom through everything. So, while I was going to court, I, I backtrack to when I was telling you about my journey through the court. So every time when the officers come to court to give their evidence, their stories were inconsistent and they lied. They lied so much on me. And the judge said, I don't know, but there's just something about this woman and may God intervene for you. And that when she said that to me, I find hope. Sir, I remember one day I went to the Rollington Town Police Station to do something. I don't remember what I went there for. And I was talking to the officer and he was like, you sound like a police officer. Where do you work? I said, I'm on suspension now. And he said, in his words, his response was, who you never give your front, make you on suspension. That's what he said. And I'm like, oh, you know, he doesn't know me, but the fact that I'm a female and I look so professional in his sight. Why am I on suspension? Is most somebody.
Mm-hmm,
And I
mm-hmm.
said I was assaulted by the officer, and he said to me that, listen, the way how them know of it vindicate people in the job is only God can come save you in the
Wow.
court because you're not going to win your case. That's what he said to me. And sir, let me tell you something. Words of power. And sometimes we must be careful of the words that we receive in our life from people that make utterances, no matter who they are. I those words almost played on my emotion and I started rejecting them in my mind and denouncing them from my life immediately. And I said, God, I'm going to win my case. And I started speaking things into existence. Yes, I'm started prophesying that whatever the police officer say, it will have no dominion over my life, and I will win my case. And for days, it kept like it want to, bounce back in my mind about what he said. And I said, on a serious note of how they are, God really going to intervene and let me win my case. They wanted to put a stop order on my passport, sir, to say that I'm a flight risk and I'm charged for 5 counts of wounding with intent. I didn't use any weapon to wound anybody. Just my little fingernail scratched the inspector in his face.
Okay. I'm hearing. We are hearing. Our listeners are hearing. Boy,
Right. To
uh,
scratch the inspector, and that's what happened.
listeners, we have we have reached half an hour, This is part one. We will go into part two after the break. We can't let this lady go. Not now, because I want her to tell us more about the book. I want us to travel a bit through the pages of her book this morning.
Old Harbor, and all surrounding communities, remember to keep cooking by ordering your IGL and Gas Pro cooking gas from Jagon Gases. We sell all sizes cheap, 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 and we deliver them for free. And guess what? If you can manage to come to us at 37 East Street, Old Harbor, and pick up your gas, then you get your gas even cheaper. Call us today for more information and to order your gas. We're open Mondays to Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sunday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., public holidays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., or call us 876-983-2318, 983-2427, 455-1243, 805-4345, 630-3978, 630-3851. We also take debit and credit cards. Keep it cooking with Jagon's Gas is your number one spot for IGL and Gas Pro cooking gas from Jagon Gases.
Yes, alright. What we do it? What we do it?
I am Trevicia, and you are listening to Old Arbor Radio 1. Thank you for joining us. Continue to enjoy our program and be sweet now.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
The radio station you can call your own.
It's my station.
Hey, this is your girl Sugar representing Old Harbor Radio 1. You don't know. You don't know, keep it locked. Old Harbor Radio 1.
Thank you for making it Old Harbor Radio 1, the voice of the people. The discussion continues with Dawn Smikle, Grace Beyond Brokenness. I personally read most of it, to be honest. And once you start reading, the level of information, the level of encouragement, the philosophy about it, everything about it, is excellent. I could hardly believe myself. I was saying to myself that this can't be a young miss that went through so many trauma. This must be a university student putting this book together. It's so constructed in a manner that you'll never want to stop reading. We continue with part two with Dawn. We are here to listen.
Right, sir. So, I wrote my book. Um, of I wrote my book in a way that not only do I tell my story, but tell the younger virgins, because we all need people in our corner. We all need people in our corner. So I wrote my book to encourage people that wherever you are in your life, whatever seasons you find yourself in, grace can make the difference. I spoke about my journey from childhood. I didn't say, but I was molested by my dad. I was molested by my dad, and he was the one that encouraged me to write the book. But he said, don't tell what I've done to you, but I cannot face you knowing that I was not there in your life between childhood to you growing up in an adult and being so successful. And I said, no, I will tell my story to help heal those who are broken, those who feel hopeless, those who feel like there's no hope in their
So,
life.
so Dawn, you could have told the story without saying it was your dad. Maybe that's what he was saying. I think I read about.
No,
Go ahead.
no, you can speak.
I think I read. I think it was what, page 190, going into 91, 92. Um, you and your dad have some conversation through phone calls. That was the period of time that you were speaking of when he mentioned that you should write a book.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, continue.
Yes, because I was trying to buy a home and I asked him for his help. I said, you know what? I'm 38 and I never tell you thanks. I cannot recall telling you thanks. but can you do this one thing for me? I'm trying to buy a home. And he said, yes, I would love to help you. And he took me to the pearly gate and never take me through it. Left me right at the front of the gate
Oh my
and
goodness.
turn his back. And I wept. I wept in tears. And I said, imagine that I'm trying to create a bond between you and I, a daughter father relationship. And I ask you for this one help, and you turn your back on me. And I write about being betrayed, going through seasons of disappointment, how we should, just keep on our journey and never stop believing in who we were born to be.
Yeah, I can tell the listeners every chapter have something encouraging. Don, your entire life, Don, is in this book,
Yes, sir.
and you don't feel any way about the world having your entire life in your
No,
hands.
no, no, sir. The world needs somebody in the world that
Don,
is going through their season. Yes, sir.
no, you continue. You use your life. You sacrifice your
Right.
life, to help the world.
Yes. For those young people that are going through their season, for those moms that feel abandoned, that feel hopeless, that feel like they're giving their child the world, but it's not reciprocating to them. Find yourself in the book. Everybody's in the book.
Everybody. And she's right, listeners. You can't afford not to have a copy of this book. And it's a book that you'll want to read over and over because I want to
Yes,
read it
sir.
again because it gives me something.
Right.
The education that we get from Don's writing, only the good Bible. I'm telling you,
Indeed, indeed. Because it has affirmations in it.
right.
How we should think about ourselves, how we should live, and
Mhm.
who we were born to be,
Yes,
and
yes.
never settle for where we are, but keep going forward and keep rising above the broken version of us.
Okay. So your father was out of the picture for many years,
Many years,
and
many years.
uh
And one day when I was while I was a police officer in 2015, I went to New York on vacation for the first time. And while I was standing on the side of the subway station in Brooklyn, first time I'm coming to America, I don't know anybody. And I was saying that, God, one day I want to live in America. I want to live in a different city where peace and tranquility is. And I started thinking about it and, just speaking into being and saying, God, you're going to let me find people that know me and that will appreciate me. And within that period of time, I saw my father walking across the road,
just like that.
just like that. The big city of New York. I don't know nobody know me. And I saw Mr. Smikle. And I said, Mr. Smikle, how are you doing?
He must have
And he
been
said,
shocked out of his wits, eh?
yes, he said, my daughter, oh my God, I can't believe I see you again. And mind you, when I was at Maxfield Park Children's Home, he has never came there to look for me. Never. My mom will, but he has never came there. When I went to Windsor Girls Home, my sister would come and visit me. I don't remember if my mom came, but I know for sure that my sister usually come and visit me. I didn't want to talk to my mom. I didn't want to talk to my mom because while I was living at Glen Hope, place of safety, she came there one day and took me home. And when she took me home, example, we live in Angels Estate, the community with the
Yeah,
gated
angels. Yeah.
part of it and so, right. So now that she take you home, she take you to Homestead in the ghetto. You're not used to that kind of environment.
Okay.
So I ran away back from my house and I took those time taxi fare was $10 in those days. $10. And I remember I had this little green suitcase and I told my sister because she was staying at my stepdad's house. with my stepdad. And I said, I'm not coming back. I am not coming back. And she said, where you going? I said, I'm going far, far away. And I tell you, Sir Keith, I went back. I went on the taxi and I asked the taxi man to take me to Maxfield Children's Home and don't take me back. He said, where's your mom? I said, no, just take me to Maxfield. And I ran away. And when I ran away, they put out a missing person order for me. And it was discovered that I was at the home. When I got to the home, I told then Miss Beverly McHugh that I don't want to go back home. And she said, Dawn Smikle, this place is for people that are troubled, kids that are uncontrollable. Why you come back? And I'm like, no, I need peace, I need love, and I need people that care about me. I'm not gonna say living at Glen Hope was the best because those us mothers, they were not the best person to deal with. They were very angry sometimes. They talked down to us. They said the worst things about us. I must tell you, and on the one hand, they say they love you, but on the other hand, they speak negative and they speak bitter against you because you're in the system. And for them, you have no family that care for you. And because nobody come there to look for you, they just think that you are the worst person. And because you're neglected by your own family.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had this wonderful probation officer. Her name is Miss Prince. She passed away. God bless her soul and rest in peace. She usually come there to see me. I wrote about her in my book as well. She usually come there to see me, and even when she doesn't have my case to take to court, she will do her checkup on me. And it was amazing to see her every week, every other week. And I remember when I went to court, the juvenile court in Spanish Town, I bent down in that courtroom and I cried. And I asked the judge to give me an opportunity to live happily. I said, I don't want to go back to my mom, but place me somewhere where people love and care for me. And I got a fit person order. A fit person order is a order that you stay in the system until you're 18 years old, but you have to leave at 18. You can't stay in the system after 18 years old. And that's how it comes I end up at Windsor Girls Home. And while I was a police officer, the judge, she came to the training school one day on the board of members. She was a part of the Justice of the Peace that was invited to one of the batch graduation. And when I remind her who I am, she was in awe to see me.
Wow. I guess she smiled.
Yeah, she smiled, sir. She smiled.
You lived up to your promise.
Yes, sir. I did. I did. I
Wonderful,
did.
wonderful.
And Dr. Gallimore, she's still proud of me. She's still proud of me. We keep in touch very often. We visit each other, hang out. And I
Hmm.
mean, she's a blessing.
Hmm.
She's a blessing to me, very much so. And Gloria, attorney Gloria Brown, she's really a blessing in my life as well.
Yeah.
You know.
So, so Dawn, you mentioned that you are still healing. How are you today?
Yes, sir.
I mean,
Uh,
one would think that
you
you
know,
have already healed. Tell us, how are you
hmm
today? Mhm.
I, I am still on my journey. Why? I was robbed of my happiness by the police force. I didn't get the opportunity to really serve, work, and do my due diligence as a female. And because of unfortunate circumstances, I was victimized and I was stigmatized against my own rights. And people placed me in a very negative light in the system. And everybody, as they see you and they hear your name, the first thing come from their mouth is negative words about you. Can I tell you that when I left the force, sir, and I decided to pursue a lawsuit against the force, I retained the service of Nigel Jones and Company, this company in Halfway Tree. And sir, the firm took my $200,000 and never take my case to court.
How
I,
comes?
I, I call it as a donation, but I am still hurt to know that they lent they drawn out the preparing the case for a period of time and didn't take my case to court. They wrote the letter to the commission office and they made a lot of error in the letter. And every time when I call the office, a new attorney have my file, and my file has been in the office for over a year and a half,
My
and I never
goodness.
get the redress that I deserve from them.
They just take your money like that,
They
nothing,
just they just take my money.
no refund.
And
Oh my
the other
goodness.
day, yes, the other day when I decided to withdraw their service, Mr. Jones told me that I owed 100 and something thousand dollars for one letter that he wrote to the commissioner office. And I was, adamant to get back my money. I went to the before I went to the office, I went to the legal
Aid.
the legal counsel.
Hmm.
I forgot the legal counsel downtown. I don't remember what the name of the place, but the legal the office that deal with those attorneys and general legal counsel. That's the name of the place.
Hmm.
And they told me I have to whatever I have to do, but I just felt like it's just a waste of time, and I just call it as a loss. I call it as a loss.
Hmm.
They stole my money. When I went to the office, they took King Alarm to the in the office, and I went there to collect my to be funded of my money that I paid to retain of the firm to represent me at the Supreme Court. I should have gotten back some compensation from money from my salary. Years. It's I'll be
No, hold on a minute, Don. Could you repeat that for us? We just lost you just then.
I'm saying, pertaining to Mr. Nigel Jones and Company.
And yeah, a little after that. Yeah, it's you. Go ahead. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was saying that they took the money from me and that I paid to retain their service, but they never represent me in court.
Yeah.
My case was stalled,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't even send my file to the Supreme Court for me to take the JCF to court for damages and maliciousness against my life.
Yeah. But
And even the human resource office, they owe me some money. And every time when I call them and write an email, if they know that my name is on the phone, the call just end. I go to the office, nothing is forthcoming. So I say, you know what? It's okay.
so you moved on.
I moved on. I just close that chapter and move on.
Uh-huh.
I'm still living and enduring in my seasons.
And you're rising. You're flying.
Flying higher than I ever been. That's what Diane Bartley said,
But Don,
the gospel singer.
yeah. Look,
Yes, sir.
look where you are now.
Yes, I'm grateful for my journey, sir.
And you have become a blessing in the lives of many so far, and you're going to be a blessing in other persons' life, persons that will purchase your book, read your story, learn from it. I mean, you are a blessing. Let's look
Yes,
at it this
sir.
way,
Thank
Don.
you.
Would,
Yes,
would
sir.
you would you rewind your life and change? Probably you'd want to change it, but what happened from a very tender age, it kind of have this domino effect. It paved the way for you to be where you are today. If you had a different childhood, Don, would you be where you are today?
Yes, I would. And what I would do is to try to achieve more earlier than
Ah,
I have. Because I got my first home at 21.
wow.
I became a landlord at 22 years old. I became a landlady. So, every obstacles reposition us to be who we are.
Uh-huh,
And
uh-huh.
if I had life too easy, maybe I would not be where I am. Maybe I would not be so successful. Maybe I would not achieve so much that I've achieved right now. But through it all, I give God thanks for His divine intervention,
Mm-hmm,
and He putting those people in my life that serve their purpose in my life for the time that they do.
mm-hmm,
If I could relive my life, maybe I would not want to have the parent that I have.
mm-hmm.
Or my mom passed away, so maybe I would not want to have the parent that I
Uh,
then have and presently. My father's still alive. He lives in the States.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I understand that. None of us would want that. But Don,
Yes.
your book encourages others to embrace their
Mm-hmm.
situation. Have you
Yes,
embraced
sir.
it? Have you embraced yours?
Yes, I
And I
have.
know
I
you're
have.
gonna, and because of embracing, you could rise above.
Yes, sir. And when I meet people that their story resonates with mine in every shape and form, I embrace them and I try to see how impactful I can be in their life and what difference I can make and what changes I can enhance and what can I do to let them feel valuable, like they're important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Listeners of Old Harbor Radio 1, let me tell you something, I only read about scholars. You hear about the scholars, biblical scholars and those great historians from in the past. But I'm proud today that I've met a scholar, Dawn Smikle. She rises among the elites in the world, so to speak, above the cream.
Yes.
Those who are the extreme top. That is a person I'm speaking with today. And if you doubt me, purchase her book.
Yes. My book is available on Amazon. It's also available at the Norman Manley International Airport. It's also available at the Town Center Pharmacy in LOJ Shopping Center. If you live in Kingston, you can find it at Brian's Book Studio. If you live in Ocho Rios, you can find it at Greato's Pharmacy or Shorty Bookstore in Ocho Rios and Linstead as well. If you want to connect with me, I have a social media handle, Gmola Destin, GMOLADESTIN. And you will find my website, dawnsmikle.online, to get your signed copy of my book, Grace Beyond Brokenness, Healed by Grace, Empowered by Purpose.
You hear that, listeners? And it is not only for persons, that have those terrible pasts, It's for everyone. Because there's no perfect life. You would agree with me.
Right.
Everybody have their different struggles, but persons who have never been in those situations that you experience can also gain from our book. Everybody,
Amen.
everybody. And I just,
Everybody can see
yeah,
themselves in the book.
right.
Yes, sir.
It's a scholarly production. I must
Yes, sir.
commend you.
Thank you.
I must commend you, Don. It's a marvelous work that you have put in, and in every chapter, I remember there's always a Bible verse, and it's not none of the
Yes,
common
sir.
one. It's not even the common ones that
No, no,
no,
no.
even the
No, sir.
verses in
Not
the
at
yeah,
all.
not at all. Even the verses that probably pastors read and I remember that in the Bible, Don have it in her book for us.
Yes, sir.
hmm So Don, you said you
I
have.
want to
Go ahead.
read,
hmm
I'm sorry. I want to read a little nugget from my book. It says, The Broken Zipper. I even recall a simple broken zipper that was aggravated about. It was a simple thing, a jacket zipper that just wouldn't close. I pulled, adjusted, and tried again. No luck. It made me late, flustered, and uncomfortable. But it also made me think sometimes we keep trying to force things to close that God has already opened. We want closure. We want answers. We want things to zip up neatly, to make sense and to feel resolved. But not every season get a clean ending. Something stays open ended because they are not finished yet or because we meant to walk away. Even without the closure we crave, that broken zipper reminded me, let go of what won't close. Let God cover you even when life doesn't wrap up in the way you expected it. Some of your greatest breakthroughs will come from the very things that wouldn't work out. I release the need for perfect closure. I am open to new beginnings. God is doing something new, and I'm trusting His covering even when things undone. It says, what about the cracked screen? I dropped my phone and the screen cracked again. It still worked, but now it had visible flaws. Something about that bothered me more than I wanted to admit. I wanted it to look new, untouched, and whole. And that's when I heard it. You can still function while healing. When we think that cracks disqualify us, that brokenness somehow voids our usefulness. But healing isn't always invisible. Sometimes the crack remains, yet we still can't connect and carry out our purpose. Don't wait until you perfectly put together to be useful. God used wounded people to do powerful things. The cracks don't diminish your worth, they testify to your survival. Even with the scars, I still live on the thought that I am whole. God's power flows through me, through, flows through my imperfections. I'm functional, favored, and faithful right here, right now.
Hallelujah. Amen. Listeners, the voice of Dawn Smikle, right here on Old Harbor Radio 1, the voice of the people. Her book holds some of the greatest quotations of human purposes. And Dawn is indeed a remarkable young person. When you read her book, even in the negative situations, Dawn picks something positive from it to stand.
Amen, sir.
I thank you, listeners. Don't we out of time. I thank you, listeners, for listening in. And before we say goodbye to Dawn, I want to give Dawn the last word on our program this morning. And I just want her to remind the listeners where and how you can get her book. Go ahead, Dawn.
So, thank you so very much this morning, Mr. Keith, for your time and for allowing me the privilege to be here and to share my story with somebody this morning. Somebody this morning that is broken, that is going through your season. May you not just dwell where you are, but just keep going forward. May you believe who you were born to be. May you know that you're destined for greatness. I pray this morning that wherever you go, that the Lord just show up for you in every circumstances that you're going through. Know that purpose will prevail over your life. Wherever you go, may your destiny blesser show up for you. If and ever you feel like you're in your wilderness, just remember that those wilderness experience, you need them for your journey to your destination. My book is available on Amazon. It's available in the Town Center Pharmacy, in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, in the LOJ Plaza, Brian Book Studio in Springs Plaza in Halfway Tree. It's available at Great House Pharmacy in Ocho Rios. It's available also at Shorty Book Studio and also the one in Ocho Rios and Linstead. It's also available in the bookstore in the Norman Manley International Airport. Why not follow me on social media? Gmola Destin, GMOLADESTIN. God bless you. Until we meet again, take care.
Take care, you too. Thank you. Listeners, there's so many things about this book I would want us to hear. Probably would have to have her to come back in the future, but in the meantime, get her book. There is a page 144 to 45. She talk about the church. And I mean, there's a quotation
Birthed by
here,
the church, but not by God.
but not by God. What a quotation. I wanted to read
Yes.
an excerpt from it, but I can't. I can't. But it can't be all the time because basically she's saying that people disappoints us, people hurt us.
Yes.
God,
The church.
God doesn't.
The church, the pastor told me that don't try to buy a house because you won't get through. It's not going to work, Sister Dawn. Don't try to write the book. Nobody going to buy your book. Or if you write the book, sell the book for $10. I've been selling. Okay, my book is for $30 online. On Amazon, it's for $30, but I'm not sure how much they sell it for in the store. But if you buy it from my website, it's for $30. And I'm not sure how much they sell it for in the stores in Jamaica. But I sold over. Can I tell you how much copies I've sold since I wrote my book in August?
Quickly, hope I don't get fired. Go ahead.
Over 4,000 copies
Wow,
of my
wonderful,
book.
wonderful, wonderful.
And people have testified. People have testified about their experience in my book.
Amen. Listeners,
Amen.
get your coffee. We're out of here. Whoosh. Bye bye. Catch you next week right here on Old About Radio 1. This is DJ Classic saying bye for now.
Why, me tell you, get up. A DJ Classic me talk, you know. Me tell you, DJ Classic is one of the best, you know.